In today's video, I'll be working here in the kitchen for the most part, doing some meal planning and cooking. Now, I don't always get around to planning my meals for each week, but every time I do, I tell myself, why don't I always do this? Like, my week goes so much better when I know what I'm gonna make for those meals. I just wanted to clarify that so you don't think I have everything together in that regard. But this week, I'm planning on doing that, and I thought I'd take you with me as I do so. But before we get into that, I wanna mention, so I don't forget, about an event that is coming up here in our area. It's November 23rd. It's at the Heritage Center. It's called the Holiday Experience. You guys might remember it from last year. We were a vendor there too, but basically it's a community building where a lot of the local vendors get together and set up little stands and sell their products. And I got to meet many of you last year. It was so much fun. But that is November 23rd from 8 to 2. And I'll have a link down below in the description box. It's an Instagram link from their page, the Holiday Experience page, in case you want to see more details. So basically I'm just planning our supper meal for each day, and I always hope for leftovers for the next day lunch, but it doesn't always happen. And as you can see, I crossed off Tuesday. That is a fun day for me. I don't have to worry about cooking. I always buy my meal from a place locally here. They cook every Tuesday. It's a mom and her daughters, and they have delicious meals. And I love it that I, first of all, don't have to worry about planning a meal for that day, and then I also like the idea of supporting their business. I'm also writing out a store list, and I plan to go to Walmart and Dowdy Farm Meats this morning. And in case you're interested in knowing where I get most of my groceries, I do a Walmart run every now and then. I don't do it very often, honestly. I have other places I usually go to, but today it kind of worked out for me. I had some other things that I needed to get at Walmart, so it kind of worked out for me to get my groceries there too. But as far as meat, I always go to local meat processing places. I just like the idea of kind of knowing what all is put into our meat. And I know I'm going to pay a little more, but to me it's worth it. I'd rather omit some other things and kind of make up for the price difference and getting good quality meat. We have a number of places locally here that are really good. Dowdy Farm Meats and German Village Market are often the places that are kind of along my route, so I'm more apt to go to those places. But there's also other good ones like Fred's Farm. I've talked about them before on here. And there's Sugar Valley Meats in Sugar Creek, and there's Winesburg Meats in Winesburg. We're just blessed in this area to have a lot of good places. A few other places I like to shop at for groceries are Aldi, and sometimes I'll get some items at Walnut Creek Cheese, and then of course German Village, which I mentioned that before for meat, but they have other things too. And for the most part we get our raw milk at a local farm, which is really nice. So the first thing I'm preparing here is the poor man's steak, and of course that consists of hamburger, and then I have some additional ingredients that I add, including onions, oatmeal, eggs, some seasonings, and then I add some water to get it to the right consistency or texture. I make the patties and grill them, and you can also fry them in a pan if you don't want to grill, but we have a beautiful day out there and I think I'm going to grill them. It does add an extra good flavor, I think. as the patties are being grilled, I'll make my gravy. And I've showed you guys before how to make pan gravy is what we call it at home. It's basically just melting some butter, adding flour, and thickening it, and then adding some seasonings. And in this case, I'm also adding some fresh mushrooms, and you can omit this if you want. I've made it both ways, but sometimes I like to add mushrooms if I have them on hand anyway. I pour the gravy over the hamburger and then I bake it in the oven for around 45 minutes to an hour. And this can be prepared beforehand and just put in the refrigerator instead of, putting it in the oven right away. But in this case, I want it for our supper, so I'll be putting it in the oven right away. And I'm also making some mashed potatoes. So I will be sharing my recipes, what I can, down below in the description box. But for some of these dishes, I don't really have a recipe to go by. The poor man's steak, for example, I just kind of guess when I make it. And then also the mashed potatoes, of course, I'm sure you guys probably know how to make mashed potatoes, but basically just, peeling the potatoes. And you can also leave them unpeeled. My guys around here actually kind of like it if I just leave the peels on. But in this case, I'm peeling them. We'll boil them until they're soft and then put them in my KitchenAid to whip them or mash them. Growing up, we always just mashed them with a hand masher. We never had a KitchenAid. So at this point, I have my poor man's steak in the oven and I have potatoes boiling on the stove. And as those are boiling, I'm going to make some cranberry orange muffins. And I probably won't share this recipe because this is a recipe that's going to be in Marlene's cookbook. And I do have some exciting news regarding the cookbook. I'm going to interrupt this video to update you. I can't stop smiling, guys. Check it out. My sister's cookbook. I don't even know where to start to talk about this book. So going way back, Marlene has always thought about putting a cookbook together. She loves to cook and has many great recipes. Like these are her own recipes in here. And I think it's been almost 2 years that we've been working on this book. We had this agreement that Marlene would cook meals for us, with these recipes, bring the food in because we live, next door in case you don't know that. So she'd bring us the food, I'd take pictures of it, and I'd have a meal for my family. Like how awesome is that? I, of course, thought I'm getting the better end of the deal, but she would say otherwise. She doesn't really enjoy taking pictures, so it kind of worked out. This project took a long time, and I'm probably mostly to blame for that. I designed it and wasn't always able to, free up my day hours to work on it. So I worked a lot of evenings, but it was probably one of my favorite projects ever. I feel honored to have been a part of it. I think it turned out to be a beautiful book filled with many wonderful recipes. A lot of these recipes I've used over the past number of years, and we love them. And the title is so fitting to all of the recipes. The words under the title say whole food recipes that are easy and delicious. That's just as simple as that. And it's not unattainable recipes that no one has the ingredients for. Just your basic healthy food that is easy to prepare and super delicious. I'm also really excited about these recipe book holders that John is making. I think these turned out so pretty. My cousin Michael did the cutouts for us, and John is putting them together and staining and finishing them. We also have an unfinished one available in case you want to finish your own. And I'm also planning on engraving something in the arch part here. That would be an option. You'd have the option of plain or with a little engraving or something, either floral or some kind of design. Not quite sure at this point, but that will all be in the listing details. So enough on that. I could probably go on and on because I'm pretty excited about this, but make sure to check it out if you're at all needing some good quality recipes. And being that this is a busy time for orders and shipping, it might go a couple weeks until you have the book. We'll do our best to get it to you sooner, but thought I'd mention it. Now back to the video. corn is a really easy vegetable for me to make, being that I had frozen a bunch back in, I think, August, whenever I had harvested corn. So handy to have in the freezer. So once the potatoes are softened, I drain them and then I put them back on the oven and turn the burner on low just to get rid of any moisture. I like to have them as dry as possible before I mash them. Usually I add butter, sour cream, salt, and milk, but you can also add cream cheese. I think that gives them a really good flavor. I then put them back on the stove to reheat. So like I mentioned earlier, the following day, Tuesday, I didn't have to cook, and I should have taken pictures of the delicious meal that we got. It was chicken bacon ranch Alfredo, a Caesar salad, and for dessert they had peach pie and also some triple treat cookies. It was just a very delicious meal. Here I'm making the sauce for the wings, and this is what Mom would always make. It consists of butter, vinegar, salt, and Worcestershire sauce. I'm also putting some frozen fries in the oven for a side dish. Barbecue chicken wings are one of the guys' favorite dishes, and they love to have them doused with this sauce. So as I'm grilling them, the trick is to just get as much sauce onto these wings as I can. I flip them often and just continue spraying them as I'm, rotating. I gotta say, they are super delicious and really simple to make. So tomorrow the women of John's family are all going to go help clean his parents' house, and then we always provide something to help with the meal. And I'm fixing a salad. I'm going to do the crunchy ramen salad. I haven't made it recently. I thought this would be something different. I plan to cut up all of my things, kind of prepare everything, and then wait until tomorrow to actually put it together. I didn't get a video of me putting this salad together, but basically just before you want to eat it, you put it together and then add the dressing. It is that type of salad that is best when eaten fresh, being that it gets a little soggy, after a while, but it is really good and flavorful. I have stromboli on the menu for this day, and with stromboli you really don't need any other side dishes, I don't think. I mean, you could add corn or something like that, but we often just eat it while we dip it in marinara sauce, and then we also, some of us, eat it with applesauce. But really you kind of have everything in the stromboli that you need for a meal. You have your bread, as the outer layer, and then your meat and vegetables and cheese. I make the dough first, and then I let it set for around 20 minutes or so while I prepare my other ingredients. Here are the ingredients I'll be using: the sausage, ham, salami. I have 2 different kinds of cheese, mozzarella and Parmesan, mushrooms, onions, banana peppers, olives, and pepper. For the batch I'm making here, I divide my dough into 4 sections. I've learned it's easier to handle the stromboli if it's in smaller sections. Plus, I have some people that don't like some of the toppings, so I'll just do like meat and cheese for a couple of them. Another meal we really like is simply grilled chicken with vegetables, and we ended up investing in a Blackstone earlier this year, so this is the first summer that we've had it, and we absolutely love it. There's something about cooking out there on the deck, just so much fun. My oldest son, Kenny, enjoys cooking on there, so often I'll just prepare everything and hand it over to him, and he'll grill it out there. So that's what we're doing for this meal, and here I'm just preparing a marinade for the chicken. I like to make it from scratch. I have several different recipes that I like, and I'll share this one down below. I like to marinate it for at least a day before grilling it. So I didn't get any final pictures of this meal, but you can kind of see what it looks like as Kenny is grilling it here. It sure smells as good as it looks. And again, I love how simple this meal is. And then of course, being that we're able to use the Blackstone, I'm not even creating any extra dishes to wash, which is always a good thing. This is the final meal for this video, and I'm actually making a larger amount, being that we had company over. Here I'm frying some bacon that will be used in the ranch potatoes. Here I'm cutting up the ham steaks into manageable pieces, and I didn't get a video of it, but we ended up making them on the Blackstone, and we also grilled some sliced pineapple with it. And if you've never done that, you should try it. It's so good. It's such a good combination together. For the ranch potatoes, first you cook them until they're almost soft. You don't want them to be too soft for this. Here I'm preparing the sauce or the dressing for these potatoes, and once they're almost soft, I'll toss them with this and then top them with extra cheese and cornflake crumbs. This can also be made ahead. I wonder if any of you guys do this. I do it out of habit. When I'm draining something boiling hot like this, I'll turn the cold water on. That way it's easier on the pipes, like you don't have that boiling water going down the pipes. I know Mom used to do this too. I'm not even sure is it a thing or not, but it's just out of habit. I hope you guys enjoyed following along in my week of cooking, and I hope you got something out of it. And I will share most of the recipes down below in the description box in case you're looking for something new. But of course, if you want a whole collection of awesome recipes, make sure to head on over to the website, check this out. So as always, I hope your day is going great. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.